Yeah, good. Good morning. Welcome. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Loud and clear. Good day and welcome to today's worship service. We are grateful that you are all here with us today. My name is Liz Wolf. I am the service coordinator today, as well as the outgoing president for a couple more hours, something like that, here at All Souls Church, where our mission is to seek truth, practice love, and celebrate life. Whether you are joining us for the first time or you've been a member for a long time, you are all welcome here. Whatever your faiths you have known or not known, or whatever your heritage, you are welcome here. Whatever questions you hold, whatever truths you seek, whatever sorrow you have known, whatever joy has filled your heart, whoever you are and whomever you love, you are welcome here. Today's service explores the UU Principles number 5, the right of conscious and use of the democratic process within our congregation and in society at large, and number 6, the goal of world community, peace, liberty, and justice for all. And so now is time for announcements, and if anyone has any, please, you're welcome to come up and make an announcement. And if there isn't, I just want to point out that next Sunday is going to be from 10 to 12 noon, potluck picnic at Cherry Rock Creek, and it's in your announcements. Terry, do you have something?
Sue Ann tried to get in the blast and she was late, so she got left out. Anyway, she wanted to thank everyone who helped serve the banquet last week on I think the 23rd. It was very successful. We had 180 people at the banquet, 36 of whom were children, although it seemed like there were more kids than that. It may just simply because they were moving around like, well, never mind. Anyway, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Terry. Oh. Carol, you want to play the prelude? I don't think, there's no other announcements? Okay. Thank you, Carol. For the chalice lighting, I'll be reading number 431. O spinner, weaver of our lives, your loom is love. May we who are gathered here be empowered by that love to weave new patterns of truth and justice into a web of life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting. Our first song is number 159. This is my song. And rise if you are able. first reading. Our first reading is number 593. And I'll read the standard text, and if you could join me in the italicized. Liberation is costly. Even after the Lord had delivered the Israelites from Egypt, they had to travel through the desert. They had to bear the responsibilities and difficulties of freedom. There was starvation and thirst, and they kept complaining. They complained that their diet was monotonous. Many of them preferred the days of bondage and the flesh pots of Egypt. We must remember that liberation is costly. It needs unity. We must hold hands and refuse to be divided. We must be ready. Some of us will not see the day of our liberation physically, but those people will have contributed to the struggle. Let us be united. Let us be filled with hope. Let us be those who respect one another. Desmond Tutu. Okay, well, I've got a story for all ages. We don't have any children, but I think we all enjoy. All right, you back there. Come on up. So in light of the topic, I went to the library and I got the book, Rulers of the Playground. Lots of pages, but it's quick. So one morning, Jonah decided to become the ruler of the playground. I am now king of this land, announced Jonah. Promise to obey me and I'll let you play in my kingdom. Jonah's kingdom had slides, so everyone pinky promised. And just like that, Jonah became the king of the playground. King Jonah was skilled. Look at me! And in some ways, I order this tree to move. And generous. Who's hungry? Most of the time, you can share this cracker. He's giving one cracker out to all the children. Yeah? Terrible. Everyone played in King Jordan's kingdom. Everyone except Lennox. Because she wanted to rule the playground too. This side of the playground is now mine, announced Lennox. Cross your heart and promise to follow my rules. Lennox's kingdom had swings, so they crossed their hearts and promised. And just like that, Lennox became a mighty queen. Queen Lennox was wise. Watch this. And in most cases, I totally meant to do that. And patient. Take your time. Most days. Okay, enough already. Everyone played in Queen Lennox's kingdom. Everyone except for King Jonah. Uh-oh, trouble in River City. This playground is mine, hollered King Jonah. It's not, shouted Queen Lennox. It's all mine. And just like that, the playground was divided in two. King Jonah and Queen Lennox each made a plan to grow their kingdoms. She's heading to have world dominance, so there we go. They conquered small things. Push, said King Jonah. Harder. Spin, said Queen Lennox. Faster, faster. And big things. Climb, shouted King Jonah. Higher, hollered Queen Lennox. They even tried to conquer Augustine's dog, Sir Hamilton Humphrey Hildebrand III. Stay, hollered King Jonah. Fetch, shouted Queen Lennox. I'm not very happy with that. King Jonah and Queen Lennox claimed the entire playground until there was nothing left to conquer and no friends to play with. They're hanging out in a tree and, Conquering is complicated, said King Jonah. Yeah, said Queen Lennox, super complicated. And so they made a new plan, the Important Apology Project. They took down their royal flags, they gave back their kingdoms. Jonah stopped being king, Lennox stopped being queen. We're done conquering, said Jonah. We cross our hearts and promise to never be rulers again, said Lennox. And just like that, the playground was fun again. Everyone was happy, except for Augustine. Oh, and Sir Hamilton Humphrey Hildebrand III. New rulers in the making. We don't have any children here, but we can still sing the children out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. So in this congregation, we've found it helpful to share the ups and downs of our lives by the practice of taking a stone from the bowl, holding it in our hand, warming it, and expressing our thoughts of joy and or concern, and then placing the stone in the water so that the ripples of the water carry our joys and concerns out into the wider world. So I'll start. So my daughter took her first solo camping trip with a friend yesterday, and it went well. The mattress, blow-up mattress, the cat had gotten into, so that deflated, which is normal for your first. You've got to have at least one tragedy. And it also rained this morning, so she called me and told me that they had just thrown everything and packed it up, and everything's going to be very wet. So, and the other joy is that my dad's here with me today, and we had a little scare, went to the hospital for a couple days, but they upped his low blood pressure medication, and he's doing fabulous. So glad that you're here, Dad. So please feel free to come up.
I'll put in, my name is Alan, and I'll put in a stone of concern as we anticipate the 4th of July holiday, and wondering how many more decades our country will survive, and wanting to be hopeful because of the fact that we've gone through a lot as a nation, and we'll get through this current time too.
I'm glad your father is here this morning, too. My name is Dean Kurtz, and I've been studying, or I've been doing some research on Ancestry.com, and found my grandmother on my father's side, or great-grandmother.
Hold the microphone up a little bit.
Great-grandmother on my father's side, I got her lineage traced back to 1698 in Germany. But more importantly, I knew I had a grandfather that was born in Canada. What I didn't know is that that conveys Canadian citizenship to me if I apply. So, guess what? I'm very happy.
My name's T.Lang, and I have a joy and that I know that John and Deb are in Washington State with Dan and Beryl, so they're all having a grand time up there in Washington State at his cabin, so that's a great deal for them to be able to enjoy themselves there. Okay.
I have a joy and a concern. So my
We'll hold it up closer to your mouth.
test.
Yeah.
It's on.
All right, I'll just use my coaching voice. My youngest, Aaron, just graduated from University of California, Los Angeles. So they just graduated in public health, and they've come here a few times and really enjoyed it. And so they're going to the Universalist Church in Los Angeles. So that's my joy. My concern is, as a trans person, they find it more comfortable to try and get into Canada, so they're going to do their graduate work at University of British Columbia. And so, I'm joyful and I'm happy that they're finishing their degree, and I'm concerned that they're feeling like to be safe in the world, they need to leave the United States. So those are my joys and concerns.
I have a concern on a similar note as I pay attention to the news and unfortunately watch all these hostilities amongst people just grow and grow. Though I do have a joy as I have found this place and am about to begin a new chapter in my life as I enter college at Augustana.
Yeah. All right, I'll take the final stone and warm it in my hands. And this is for all the joys and concerns, spoken and unspoken. And if we can give ourselves a moment of time just to reflect on everything that has been said and unsaid today. All right, if you'll join me in the second song, it's number 150. our second reading. And now for our second reading, number 671. Freedom. And again, I'll read the standard text if you'll join me on the italicized. Our faith and knowledge thrive by exercise as well as our limbs and complexion. If the waters of truth flow not in a perpetual progression, they sicken into a muddy pool of conformity and traditions. The light which we have gained was given us not to be ever staring on, but by it to discover onward things more remote from our knowledge. Where there is much desire to learn, there of necessity will be much arguing, much writing, many opinions. Give me liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties. All winds of doctrine let loose to play upon the earth, so truth be in the field. We do injuriously to misdoubt restrain. For who knows not that truth is strong next to the Almighty? She needs no policy, no stratagems to make her victorious. Let her and falsehoods grapple. Whoever knew truth put it the worst in a free and open encounter. John Milton. And now, our message from our own T.Lang, President Thomas Jefferson.
Good morning. Can you all hear me? Ah, good. First, I want to welcome Wes Haronko. Reverend Haronko has been a speaker here several times, usually on the history of UUism, but we welcome him back today, and it's nice to see an old friend. Second thing, when Alan called and said, "Would you like to talk?" there were 2 or 3 things that went through my mind, none of them particularly yes. However, I did agree to come in and talk about Thomas Jefferson. My initial thought was this is going to be simple and it's going to be real straightforward, and it turned out, after doing some reading and some research, it's not simple, it's not straightforward, and this is a man who was a very complex individual with views that were contradictory on many issues. None of the founding fathers, with the possible exception of George Washington, was more influential in the founding of the United States than Thomas Jefferson. None of them are obviously as conflicted as Jefferson was. His words and his actions were often at opposite ends of the political spectrum. He was not a talented speaker. Thomas Paine was a very talented rabble-rousing speaker. John Adams was a rabble-rouser and would stand on a soapbox and tin your ear. Thomas Jefferson was not. Ben Franklin said of him during the Continental Congress that set up the Declaration of Independence that quite often during debate, Jefferson didn't say a word. He was not a talented speaker. However, he is the eloquent voice of the Declaration of Independence. And I would hazard that almost none of us cannot cite back some of the words that he put in the Declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed with by their Creator with certain inalienable stumble over that, done the hat research too. Inalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I would challenge any of you to find in less than 100 words a better description of American democracy. In a very eloquent way, he has set forward all of the ideas embodied in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. It is widely known and discussed that Thomas Jefferson was a slaveholder. He inherited slaves from his father when he passed when Jefferson was 14. He inherited more people from his father-in-law when he passed. And those people that he owned are largely responsible for his ability to be gone from his farm while they ran it and did all the labor. He was able to go to France and be with Benjamin Franklin in France as an emissary to the French government, not because he had set up other people to take care of things. He had the slaves doing that. When they built Monticello, the slaves built Monticello. It is a fact of life that he owned these people. He owned roughly 600 people over the course of his lifetime, and that he was unable, even though he believed in abolition, and the discussions around the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution showed that he did not believe that slavery was a good thing. But he owned people. It is a distinct contradiction in his life. Many people believe that he sired children with one of the slave women that he owned. And DNA in our time and age has shown that that is probably mostly correct. It is also true that the woman with whom he sired those children was probably a step sib of his wife who passed before he began that relationship. It is true that his father-in-law sired that woman as well as the woman he married. He was unable to free any of those individuals during his lifetime, probably mostly because of the economic problems that would have created for him. He had 2,700 acres that he was farming that he got from his father. And it would have been impossible, unthinkable, not part of his lifestyle to be trying to run the farm of that size without the help of his slaves. It was also true that he was born into the planter class in Virginia. And that is to say, they were white, they farmed with the use of slaves, and that was the lifestyle they had. He was born into that lifestyle, and he found it apparently impossible to repudiate it. However, when he passed, his will made 2 of the children that he sired with Sally Hemings free. He was governor of Virginia and was a member of the House of Delegates. It was as a member of the House of Delegates of Virginia that he brought to law the idea that there would be no established church of state or state church. And he passed a bill in Virginia that allowed them to not have a state church. At the time, England was a monarchy, but you had to belong to the Church of England. And that was from Henry VIII up to George III. He had disagreements with Alexander Hamilton, where he thought Hamilton was too much British, and that he was not opposed enough to British rule. He had an argument with Thomas Paine, who, when he was a member of the House of Delegates, had Jefferson investigated for crimes and corruption, although that was never upheld. And what had been a kind of pickish personality hardened with those two things, and he became more standoffish, more private, and less able to communicate with the people around him. He was the third president of the United States and was the second vice president of the United States, losing an election to John Adams, who then he turned around 4 years later and defeated and became the third president. He participated in the first peaceful transfer of power between a contender for the presidency and the presidency. George Washington set the precedent, but it was not as contested as the Adams and Jefferson contest was. And there was a possibility that Jefferson could have made it a less peaceful thing, but it remained a peaceful transfer of power from one president to the next. When he was vice president, he fell out with Adams. They had been very close. And when Adams supported the English against the French in the French Revolution, and Jefferson was a big believer in the French Revolution, when Adams was more English than that, he fell out with him. Adams also imposed the Alien and Sedition Acts, which essentially made it unlawful to criticize the government. And we know where that has some more recent history. So the two of them fell out, and Jefferson ran against Adams for president. They did not reestablish that relationship of friendship until much, much later in their lives, when they were writing letters back and forth to each other, along with Abigail, who contributed to those letters. And that is some of the more famous letters that are written in the English language. In his first two terms as president, he made the Louisiana Purchase and essentially doubled the size of the country for about $15 million. The French had laid claim to that part of the country, and when they were in the war with Britain, they needed money, and so they sold it to the United States, and it then became South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, all of those states. He founded the University of Virginia and is celebrated as that. He was a universalist, and he famously had a Bible that he had altered in such a way as to take all the miracles supposedly performed by Christ out of the Bible, and that was the Bible that he used in his personal references. All in all, a very complex and conflicted individual, standing on both sides of many issues. But he was able to succeed. He was able to be president. He was able to bring forth the University of Virginia. He made sure that there was no established religion in the United States. And for those things, we thank him.
Thank you. That was very, hold on, let me get back on. It's very, very interesting. Thank you, Terry, for those words. And now is the time for our offering. Half of the plate today will go to support the Red Ribbon Skirt Society, missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. Carol. And so now we have the words to receive the offering. We could read this together. We give these gifts freely. We receive these gifts gratefully. We dedicate these gifts to the work of our congregation, serving human wholeness, caring for our planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, loving one another. And our closing song is number 115. And if you could rise, if you are able. God in grace and God of glory. And we've got a closing reading. One more, Terry. It's number 462. by Paul Robeson. Did I turn my thing on? There we go. It's by Paul Robeson. I shall take my voice wherever there are those who want to hear the melody of freedom or the words that might inspire hope and courage in the face of despair and fear. My weapons are peaceful, for it is only by peace that peace can be attained. The song of freedom must prevail. And now, Terry, if you will extinguish the chalice. The chalice is extinguished, but the light goes with us out into the world. And now if you'll join us downstairs for coffee and cookies, then we'll be back up here at, what time? 11:15. So we've got some time. So we'll see you back up here for more discussion with Terry on his topic. And please join us downstairs. Thank you.